Mental illnesses are genetic. Psychological illnesses are not genetic. Because the psyche is not a physical thing. It's an idea held inside the core of the individual. An idea can't be born except in the mind of its creator. It can be copied, yeah, but its creator is aware of this copy, and it's thus a new and different idea. All psychological illnesses, quote, should be recategorized as psychological events or episodes, because any person at any time for any duration of time could enter into one at any moment, technically. There are no hard and fast rules to thoughts, and thus the system, the specification and pattern of these thought episodes and these new episodes or events can arise at any time, arising from such influences as social situations, status quos, technology, world situations, etc. So look at ADD, ADHD, attention deficit disorder, all of that, and how we're getting loads of that today, and ask yourself, were these, quote, diseases around before? Well, probably yes, they were in some degree in some cases, but certainly not to the degree that we see them today. So you ask yourself why. Personally, I think it's pretty obvious. Things like massive flashing amounts of colour on TV with no real backstory. It's just sort of simplistic jumping about idiocy with colour and song and crap like that. Sweets full of E numbers, a lack of discipline, poor diet. Energy drinks available on every street corner shop, filled with whatever crap. Just getting away with everything because, as I say, lack of discipline, lack of being able to punish. Anyway, no one should ever be labelled as having a mental illness, because as soon as you do label with someone that, it implies that they may have it forever. It sounds negative straight away, and it's a normal fact of life. Anyone can have something like this at any point. Also, it allows that person to suffer, to potentially get in the way of breaking that negative episode. If someone's labelled with something, then they can just say, oh, I've got this, or he's got this, or she's got this, as an excuse then to sort of tackle it. Episodes can be both good and bad. A big problem with today's treatments for mental illnesses is that the drugs used, I don't know many, I've taken citalopram, heard about Prozac and some other stuff at the moment, I can't remember what it's called, mentally alter the person with a physical hormone chemical, right? So the problem there is that yes, it lessens sort of, if you will, the effect of the psychological episode on them, but it doesn't allow the person to actually learn from it, to endure it, to grow from that episode, which essentially, I believe that most of psychological episodes are they're learning experiences. All it does is simply perpetuates this limbo state, so the person takes the drugs and then they're simply floating above their problems, which therefore don't go away. Dependence on medication follows as a reduction or cessation. It leads to fearful feelings returning or occurring. So hang on a minute, so dependence on medication follows then, and any reduction or cessation in medication then leads those people who are on it, to fear, to worry that their condition, their anxiety, their episode will recur, will come back. And due to not trying to fight it before, the most likely thing is they'll still be able to fight it now. So thus, as soon as they come off the drugs, it's straight back with the problems. So, however, Donald Winnicott, I've got a quote here, whoa, not from me. Donald Winnicott said that, this is his quote, life itself is difficult. And obviously, yeah, it really, really is. Otherwise, it would be utterly pointless. So, lends me back to before, as I said, that psychological episodes, they are a part of life. It's a learning event. We are all at times faced with mental challenges, right? Fear, sadness, isolation, depression, desperation, hatred, everything like that, stress. But how would life be if we didn't have them? If it was all one cozy bubble, how would you know that it was cozy? That's the thing. See, it's only through seeing life without something that you can realise just how much something is worth. So there's got to be an equal and opposite for everything in the universe, hence why we have these painful events, so that you know what it is to be not in pain. My point, essentially, from all of this is that the system as it stands, with its doling out of antidepressants left, right, and centre. I went into a doctor. I said I was depressed. I answered, I think, 10 or 20 questions. Very simple. Took me about 10 minutes, and immediately I was given a high dose of citalopram. I think it was 3 times or 4 times the base dosage for it. And I'd spent maybe half an hour in total with that doctor who'd never seen me before. So it's just it's ludicrous, because having taken those pills and realising just what they actually do, they're worse than class A's. Seriously, I was in bed, palpitations, unable to sleep, sweats, just completely unable to control what was going on in my head, and it's not the answer. Thanks.